Welcome back to Defense News Weekly. I'm Pat Hansen. The story of John Basara begins when he joined the Marines to be the best infantryman he could be in the early 2000s. But injuries and mental trauma he sustained in war led to a tortured recovery, a path made worse by the opioids he was prescribed to manage his pain. When we first met Basara in 2018, he was several years into his recovery, but still fighting with the fallout from his time in service, and the addiction he developed as he sought to find relief. Here's part 3 of our story, The Fight Back, about how one Marine entered the service with the highest ideals, but fell into a troubled recovery when he got back from war.
It was October 6, 2006 was the first time I actually got struck by an IED, and I looked over and noticed that not only did it kill Corporal Letzum, but it killed about 30 kids coming out of the school. Everybody was on fentanyl, oxycodone, morphine pills, fucking every painkiller you can think of, you would be able to find at that barracks. I started having points where one wasn't enough. That feeling of, knowing that all that pain's gonna go away, you will pretty much do anything you have to do to get it. First thing I do, I usually come out here, I'll take my Suboxone, usually first thing, and antacids and anti-reflux. Liquid medicine, I take gabapentin, one of those and one Suboxone every morning. And if I'm really sore from the night before, I'll take a Motrin. But I try not to take those as much as possible because they mess your liver up pretty bad. I take my medication, I try to eat something, and usually by that time, I'll sit on the couch because I usually wake up and I'll have cold sweats or stomach pains pretty much on a regular basis every day. Once that passes and I finally feel a little bit settled after about it usually takes about a half an hour, I'll go into the bathroom and I'll do, my hygiene. I'll brush my teeth, which usually I have to take my teeth out completely. I don't have any bottom teeth in. And it's just a shitty reminder every day that, I'm not whole. It just sucks to look in the mirror that way, but when I got out of jail, I was clean. I went to probation, but I wasn't mentally clean. I was elated that I could go home, and if I had a bad day, I didn't have to deal with people. Because it doesn't matter if you're having a bad day in jail. You're living in that shit. Those people, you don't get to pick your roommate. You don't get to pick any of that. And these are all, half of them are all drug addicts because they just felt like doing drugs one day, I didn't choose to become a drug addict. I wasn't in my environment getting out yet, so I didn't know what I was gonna feel like. I'm getting out, I still have all the thoughts. My pain's still there, So, and it's only gonna be a matter of time in that area to where I'm gonna slip up.
I think it's if not misunderstood, it's something that you can overlook. When you look at him, he's 6'4", 250 pounds. Why can't this person go out there and hold a 9-to-5 job and just go do things? I watched him try to put a child's gate on the steps one day coming over my house. After 15 minutes of frustration and holding a level vertically rather than horizontal, I said, listen, just go sit down, I'll handle it. It's a problem. And people don't realize that when they see somebody like him. He's never going to be able to function as a 9-to-5 guy in society. He's going to be basically a ward of the state probably the rest of his life.
You can't explain to a boss when you have a steady schedule if you're up for 3 days and then all of a sudden you're going to sleep, and I can't keep any kind of a normal schedule. I can schedule things, but I might have to cancel, I might not. It depends, how I am and how I'm feeling. Like right now, my back hurts so fucking bad that I can't even get in a comfortable position. Yeah. But my back's the least of it. It's the mental thing, I think. We moved up here. We moved at an apartment in Prospect Park. I heard nothing from my probation officer.
Did you give them any kind of notification?
No, I told my dad to tell him when he came by, if he ever came by. He didn't come by for like 3 months.
For like 3 months.
Came by, left a card in the
card
window.
on the door.
2016, right before New
Christmas.
Year's, right before 27, right before Christmas, I get a letter in the mail saying,
from VA.
From the VA
saying your benefits have been terminated because you have a felony
Immediately.
warrant out of Cape May County, New Jersey. So right away, I start calling to see what I can do to get this taken care of. I call down there, see what I can do to get if I can get a court date or something like that, and go show them the progress I made. Well, as soon as I go back and show them the paperwork saying my warrant's terminated, they're like, oh, okay, well, you can start getting paid now, but you still owe all this.
And throughout the whole time, we're
they
putting
say
in
the
hardship.
reason they don't pay you is because they're not going to financially pay for somebody to be on the run from the law.
Yeah.
But I wasn't running. I didn't know I had all this shit happening. I had no idea. Nobody contacted me, even though they all knew of all these things years prior. Nobody ever told me that, you have a warrant out, and all this money that we're paying you right now, you're going to have to pay back. Mm-hmm. I would have went and done all this 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I wouldn't have done this with a child. I understand war is crazy. There's nothing normal about it, It's not what they did then, it's how they dropped the ball afterwards. That shit's not going on anymore. When I was back here stateside, the people that, work in these hospitals and everything like that, half of them don't give a shit. People who are in control of people's lives have no accountability. There's nobody to account.
The one giving you those prescriptions.
Exactly. There's nobody saying that, you know what, maybe you're taking too much of these. Maybe, you shouldn't. They give you a contract to sign in the beginning, the first prescription you get, and that's all the information they give you about it. They don't tell you any of the risks, what you're going to deal with when you do get dependent on them, any ways to get off of it.
Do you ever regret enlisting?
No.
After all this, no?
No, not for a second. Because I did do some good, I made friendships. I know I saved at least 3 or 4 people that I know I directly had a hand in saving their life. I've gotten to see some horrible things, but I've also gotten to see some amazing things and do some amazing things for people. Most of the time we were out there, we were just trying to take care of the kids and the families out there and get them normal shit, get their water going or anything, you know what I mean? And the whole time we're fighting an insurgency, and I didn't have the tools to do it. But I honestly don't regret it, because I met her, I have my wife and my child, and you meet my daughter, you'll see. And she's awesome, and I can't wait to have more.